Who is the most interesting character in Haikyuu? Is it Hinata, who never gives up despite all the odds being against him? Maybe. Is it Kageyama, who despite having the talent and potential, lacks in team play and instead of making his teammates better with his serves, he pushed them down? Maybe. For me, the most interesting character always was Oikawa. The YouTuber Alexander already made a pretty good video on him, so I will only kinda summarize his character and continue with elaborating on why we need more characters like him in other shonen and why even in Haikyuu he was still underused. Oikawa is a setter, just like Kageyama, and in the start of the series he's better than him. Unlike Kageyama, though, he doesn't have plot armor on his side. And I don't mean this sarcastically, I mean this for real. Kageyama has enormous talent and potential in him. A natural instinct he was born with. He gets better and better constantly, so making him have to grow as a character mostly instead of as a player was a good choice. And yes, while growing your character and developing from one personality to a slightly other, more positive personality in itself is pretty hard to do. It is possible. You have no literal body holding you back. The mind is free. Oikawa, on the other hand, is the opposite in this case. He's a team player. He can bring out 110% out of his teammates, but his actual skill set as a player is limited. He can't grow as much as Kageyama, nor as fast as him. When you need both to excel at sports, it is undeniable that the physical skill of a player is more important than his mental attitude. If you look at professional sports in real life, there are far more athletes that just have the natural gift and a rather poor work ethic than athletes with a professional mind and a limit of how good they can become. Despite them training maybe 10 times the amount other people do, they won't do as much as them, which is really a cruel subplot for an all-good happy anime like Haikyuu. Oikawa, having met Kageyama in his first year of middle school, him seeing how much better Kageyama got in the same amount of time Oikawa needed for less progress must have been really frustrating. But Kageyama then goes on and even surpasses him by winning against him. Just imagine yourself in his character real quick. All the hard work you did up until now still wasn't enough, and people who you thought were miles behind you suddenly surpass you. I don't want to talk about My Hero Academia all the time, especially since I have got another not so positive video about it in line, but I can't help but point out the parallels between Oikawa and Bakugo. Of course, these are totally different situations and Bakugo's character isn't purely what I have been talking about this far. I believe that Haikyuu did the idea of a character like Oikawa more justice. Bakugo himself is gifted and stronger than anyone else, and the rise of Deku didn't develop over years. It happened from one day to another, and Deku still didn't threaten to overtake him at that point. He was just making progress while still being leagues under Bakugo. Other than that, I don't really see this character a lot. Of course, we still have the rival character, like for example Vegeta, who can't seem to catch up to the main guy, but always seems in the range of being able to. Also, his character and Bakugo's character are driven by their cockiness. The fact that they don't want to be beaten by such a lowlife. Whilst Oikawa doesn't hate Kageyama for being a lowlife, he doesn't even really hate him. It is more like a jealousy he has or a disliking. And by the way, I am not saying that Oikawa is a better character than Vegeta was in his prime, so don't worry. All I'm trying to say is that we get characters who have a minor characteristic like him, but we never got or I can't remember a character who got like a full-on character that deals with this issue, which is really interesting, I think. But however, I still don't think the character of a hardworking yet to some degree failing character was explored as much as it deserved to be. Now, I am only referring to the Haikyuu anime, and I do realize this may only be what I wanted, and the mangaka wanted to tell a totally different story. This video is only my opinion, so if you disagree, it's fine. I won't go too much into depth here, since I have a series planned called How to Make Anime X Better, and maybe I will talk about Haikyuu at some point. So just shortly, what I would have wished they did with Oikawa. Show some more grief and disappointment. I know we had like some scenes of him and his teammates crying after the loss, but that's a more general view on what the short-term reaction to the loss his team had situation. I know he isn't one of the main cast, but maybe in season 3 or 4 you could show him train even more than he did before, or even take it completely different route and show him get a little depressed instead of just showing him be a cheerleader for 1 or 2 scenes. The build up for a character is important, but I think how you use the characters afterwards is also as important as the build up. Still, I think even the inclusion of such a character is nice. I'm not saying this is the most complex character I have ever met, but I believe it's nice to have such a realistic and relatable character in your show. Because sometimes whatever you do, you still may not achieve what you are going for. You will go through development and get better than what you were before, so you should always be happy with what you already achieved. But sometimes, or most of the times, people don't achieve what they wanted to achieve. Maybe having him realize this after he lost would also be nice. As I said, this is only what I would have wished his character to be, or characters like him to be included in other anime. So if you disagree, it's totally fine. You can comment what your thoughts are on this video. I think the video was kind of wild, but yeah, whatever. If you enjoyed it, leave a like, subscribe, and